I want to just touch about a couple of things. I've been going to Gun World probably about 2 years now. One of them is there was concern about noise. I could guarantee you airplanes make more noise than you'll hear from Gun World. I also have severe asthma. I spend $1,500 a week out of my pocket for 3 shots. I guarantee you airplanes dump more gas to give me more problems, more fuel, I should say, than Gun World would. As far as the traffic going through Wooddale, most of the people, 50% of the people have to go down Irving Park from the west to the east. The other half had to go from the east to the west. You never even know they had guns, that they were going to Gun World. And I haven't heard anyone yet say there was a problem of people going through Irving Park or going through Wooddale, I should say. You have more accidents or deaths with cars, with younger people driving without license or insurance than you have with guns. And that's basically all I wanted to say.
Thank you, sir. Quick.
Just respect to the comments about the Black Diamond, that is not an adult use. That's actually just that was a bar that was located in Bensonville. That thing was also purchased as a part of the O'Hare expansion, but it was not a strip club or any other type of adult use. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have Jeannie Matsuski, 443 North Wooddale Road.
I live on Wooddale Road, and I have no issues with the business of Gun World or anything like that. What I question is the amount of location around Gun World that is felt safe. I have one question. In your comments, you mentioned security is on the property just about every other day. I don't know what that meant. But besides that, my question goes out to, again, in the news these days, yes, it only takes one wacko. There's been a lot of wackos lately. People who have had qualified gun licenses, who have bought their purchases legally and have wigged out. What I'm questioning is this location, to me, is too close to many, many places that include children. They've been mentioned already. I didn't want to repeat, but we have to repeat it. It's the Voice Center. There's a child daycare center there. There's the junior high with which I have children. I live on Wooddale Road. There's the Park District, the library. I question what is safe. I question how we can police what happens if those are locked and we have one case of ammunition there and they drive down the block, they've had a bad day, and they load that gun. There's too many cases where they could just walk into the junior high and say, oh, lots of kids. Again, I'm just talking about one wacko, not nice people who are doing their normal everyday things. I just think the location should be somewhere not so dense with a population that could be attractive to someone who has other ideas. And I do still question what you meant by security on the property just about every other day, because I don't have issues with that, but that made me wonder what you said.
All done? Thank you. Would you like to answer that?
Thank you for the comments, and I apologize if it was unclear. With the list of clients that my client has, his customers, between the amount of municipal police departments that use the range as well as private security firms that use the range, on average, there's usually one set of those people, either a security firm that's training or a police department that's training in this facility on an every other day basis. So his facility has cameras on the outside, cameras on the inside, has a range master watching. So what I meant was there are police officers and security people that are using this. This won't be the hangout for your gangbanger or for your interested person who doesn't have a FOID card. This is not the place for them to go to buy a gun. Unfortunately, state laws are not consistent. Illinois has some of the strictest gun laws. Missouri is a joke. People buying them at the flea markets, people buying them on the internet. That's where the problems are arising from. So what I meant is, this is not a place where the unlawful users are going to go to either use the range or buy guns.
May I ask quickly, how many people use the range each month or week, or what
You need
was
to
your
come up here to give
average?
the answer.
Not including the pistol groups or the clubs or the security outfits, there's probably about 20 a day that use the range.
20 per day. Is there anybody else in the audience who would like to speak that hasn't? And you didn't fill out a blue card? No, I missed that. Okay, I'll allow it. Please come up.
I'll only take a minute.
Okay.
Good evening. Thank you very much for your time. My name is Sam Kozo. I've been a patron associated with
Your
the
address,
Saskins.
sir?
Pardon me, sir?
Your address?
Oh, I'm sorry, 422 Prospect in Elmhurst. I've been associated with the Saskins. I've known Jerry and his dad for over 25 years. I am a parent. I understand the concerns and the fears of parents. When my son was a little boy, I took him to the range with me, where he stood on a milk crate behind me and watched me shoot. When he was old enough, he learned gun safety from myself, Mr. and Mr. Saskin, Mr. Pugh. Today, my son sits in this room at 18 years old. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I get a little... he's a straight A honors student. He's taken gun safety very seriously. He's transferred that seriousness into everything that he does. His schoolwork, his work ethic, the respect for elders. He's part of the Elmhurst Peer Jury Program. All right, there are good things that come out, all right, of gun ownership and firearm safety. All right, not everything is negative. And I do appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Okay. If you didn't fill out a blue card, you only get 1 minute.
Very briefly, I just want to make the council aware of something. Perhaps I don't know, my name's Steve Manthey, I live at 401 Oak. I've been a resident for 20-plus years. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, there used to be a gun shop right off of Irving Park by the cutoff. And I worked there for a few years. I knew the guy that owned the place, and never had a problem up there, ever. And I feel that Gun World can be a safe place for people to be able to practice their sport without having to go so far. Right now, there aren't too many ranges in the state of Illinois that we can get to easily. And I think it'd be a good incentive for our tax base also.
Thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate one more short one.
Wait till the last, so I hear everybody's argument.
Name and address, please.
My name is Jeremy Bolus. I live on 173 Center, down the street from the police station. And I speak on behalf of my entire family. We have 3 houses on the same street. And we have no opposition to Gun World and to law-abiding citizens using the facilities. And that's all I'm going to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank everybody here for expressing their opinions in such a professional way, really. It went very nicely, and actually, we had about 11 minutes of people who were pro and about 11 minutes of people who were against the gun shop, so just so you know, it is an even balance. Just one thing I'd like to mention, if I may, and I think the mayor will agree with this. The M1 district or the M2 district, the adult type of store, we have to have that. Otherwise, by law, I think it is that they could move in anywhere in town. So we had to pick out a part of town that to have that type of thing there. So having one kind of adult thing there probably isn't going to influence something else to come into there. But I would like to mention that we probably want to change the zoning on the bottom part here, south of School Street. It's M1, and that's residential. We probably want to take that out of there. We don't really need adult services on those little streets over there. So it's something for the future you might want to, unless that's,
Actually, R2. The copy just didn't come out too clear on that.
oh,
There,
good,
south of school,
good,
this is
excellent.
R2.
Okay, so it stops at School Street then. Thank you. And then a big portion of that is the retention area of the M2 area. 20 shooters a day, approximately, not counting the clubs. You mentioned that you would be willing to have a user fee. I thought you might jump at that.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We don't, I think he was talking about the 20 users, and you can probably step up here. That's the individual users. That does not include, one of the persons that couldn't make it tonight was Mr. Taggarty, who was a Triton College professor. He does his training there. That does not include the VFW will rent out the range and use it. Does not include the municipalities, when they come in, they pay a fee to use the range. The 20 users were beyond those groups, so we have, because I understand you're not going to do this decision based solely upon sales tax dollars. You need to take into consideration all the 7 factors as well as the public comments. But a use tax could go directly to the city of Wooddale. We would have to review numbers as to what could be acceptable. It had to be a percentage of the revenue that because he does charge use the range, but it's just not considered a sales tax. But we could do an entertainment tax probably up to close to 10%. Could go to the city of Wooddale as a tax. And I think that would probably get the annual revenues from this location probably be closer than the $15,000 in sales tax, probably closer to $40,000 or $50,000 on an annual basis.
Okay, it's something that can be discussed with staff before next week's meeting.
Sure.
So, Roger, if you would meet with them, I'd appreciate it.
And Mr. Chairman, I make one comment about the reason, and it was probably Mr. Knipe and maybe yourself were probably the only members that are on the council when you originally picked that area for the adult uses. And you're right, you have to allow them somewhere. And I think the reason the council back then, behind the leading of the attorney, said, this is an area where there's large buildings, and you're not going to get your adult uses going in there because no one can afford to have hopefully not, a 250 square foot adult bookstore or a 250 square foot mini theater,
or whatever you
250,000 square feet. So I hope this committee isn't considering rezoning that property and moving your adult uses somewhere else, because you have to be very careful to see what those businesses are, because the city to date has done a very good job with keeping those, by definition, adult uses out of the city of Wooddale.
Thank you. Alderman Knipe.
Yeah, for the, when your clients come in, do you make them register? Do they have to sign in if they're there that day, or?
Absolutely.
Okay, so all your clients for that day, you would have a list and you keep that for a while?
Forever.
That's good. That's good.
Alderman Coles.
In signing in, do you put the ID card number down alongside his name?
Yes.
Okay, that's a good idea. Okay.
Anybody else? Alderman Lewitton.
I'd like to ask Police Commissioner Frank Benowitz, there was a gentleman up here by the name of Jay who said that a gun shop could devalue the property. I want to ask you, wasn't there in the last year a murder investigation right around School Street? One of the residents was found dead in Chicago. And how would then I'd ask him, how how that affects his land value, if people know that the tenant was, a renter was murdered who lived in Wooddale in that area.
This is a very delicate question. I can't comment on ongoing investigations. That case is still open. All I can confirm is yes.
Was School Street where he lived, right?
Yes.
Okay. I would ask Jay, how does that impact on his land values, that he's a block away from that type of a crime? Does that hurt selling of the property in that area?
I think it potentially.
Sir, you're going to need to go to the podium because we do videotape these meetings and rebroadcast for the citizens.
Potentially, I think it impacts me in the sense that if there's something so controversial next to my building, it's going to make it more difficult for me to rent it. I'm going to be at in a different situation than everybody else in the area. I think that people, obviously from the showing here today, don't have a problem with what's happening inside the gun shop. It's what happens outside the gun shop or the people that just get nervous by it. You know, I don't want to be put in a situation where I'm in a difficult situation trying to rent my building on a different basis than everybody else. So yeah, I think it devalues my property. According to my realtor who I spoke with before, he agreed with me. I think that professionals in this area would also agree. My building is directly visible. A lot of the other buildings you won't see quite as much, but mine's right next door. So when you're in my parking lot, you're going to see Gun World. You're going to see the parking lot for Gun World. It's going to be kind of right there. I just think for people that are nervous from guns, that's going to be an issue for them. If they have employees that are coming in, I think that they might be hesitant to rent there because they might be nervous. They don't want to lose their employees. It's tough keeping good employees, and if some of them show issues with being around some sort of a gun shop or a shooting range, then mine will be on the short list to get knocked off. That's my apprehension, and I think that the less the less guns in an area, the less potential there is for problems. If you don't bring guns into the area, although there might not be any problems, if there's 500 or 1,000 guns traveling through Wooddale a day, the risk for a potential disaster is obviously increased 500 times or some mathematical number. Whereas if there's no shooting range in the area, then the issue is going to be a lot smaller.
Well, that wasn't the question. The question was, how did the events in the past year affect your property? And everybody's concerned what happens outside of the gun world range. And I'm saying that you're about you're 1 block away from a murder. So Gun World wasn't here when that happened. What effect does that have on your sale?
My building's fully rented right now.
Right, so it had no effect at all
it
on
didn't have
your
an
land
effect on
value.
me, no. But it's not, it wasn't as visible probably as Gun World's going to be right next door to the people that are renting spaces from me.
So we're more concerned with visibility than subterfuge.
Could you explain that?
Well, you're more concerned with a sign that appears on a building than you are with criminal activity that happens on the street.
No, I'm obviously very concerned with criminal activity that happens on the street. But I think that, the fact from me being a business person and a businessman, this building is my business, it's my livelihood, it's how I make my money. If I'm going to be negatively impacted from it, that's one of my issues. Obviously, I don't want crime. If there's all sorts of crime that breaks out in the area, that's going to negatively impact me also. If things go wrong in Gun World, that's going to be a negative. People aren't going to want to be near me. If there's a murder from somebody driving out of the driveway, something happens, that's going to negatively impact me because of the logistics. The murder, it didn't impact me, no.
Okay. So it's economics that's the consideration.
I'm a businessman, yeah. That is my consideration. At the same point in time, I want Wooddale to be safe. I don't want there to be any criminal activity. I think that all those other considerations are very important to me. I don't have children in the area. I have my building in the area, and that's why it was my concern.
I don't live in the area. I live outside of Wooddale, but I am there on a daily basis. And to me, yeah, I'm uncomfortable having a gun shop right next door. I don't want people coming in and out. It makes me a little bit nervous, all these people with all the guns. My tenants in the building, it makes me nervous for them too.
Thank you, sir, for your
Thank you
reply.
for answering the question.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to grant a special use to Gun World at 660 Pond Avenue to include a gun retailer, gunsmith, and indoor gun range in the M2 zoning district. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
You want to call the roll, please?
Alderman Wesley?
No.
Alderman Police?
No.
Alderman Lewiton?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman Cadella?
No.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Coles?
Yes.
Alderman Knipe?
Yes.
Motion passes. It will be recommended full council that we approve the special use. Items to be considered in the future meetings is a tree preservation ordinance. Anybody have anything else? Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your calm professionalism. I appreciate it. I make a motion to adjourn the Planning, Zoning, and Building Committee. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Ms. Schultz, I believe that this next meeting will be about 10 minutes, probably maximum. Should we keep going? Okay. Oh,
Yeah, give them a chance to leave.
okay, yeah. Okay, 5 minutes.
Ongoing investigation. That's why he said, yeah, but did you hear him say, it's very, well, it seems like he was still going where with the guy.
Well, once it was, I'm just pointing out, he's not concerned about the danger. He's concerned about his economics.
I just wanted to get too far into it for we get legal
No,
battle.
I wasn't going to go. I thought it was dropped because I was told that the person was let go of photos and they beat him the next day.
It was a historic site.
Jay?
Recourse past this?
Well, it hasn't
Well-
passed yet.
It goes to council.
According to the mayor, it'll take a supermajority next week, and we don't have a supermajority here.
Next week.
No, it's a 5-3 vote right now, and they'll need, full council would need 6 votes to approve.
From the votes that were actually here.
This is a recommendation to go to council. It's not a recommendation, well, it's a recommendation to go to council with a recommendation to approve. But things could happen between now and then. The same people that would be voting. I'd like to have an answer to that woman's question about an employee.
Yeah.
That's still something that I would want an answer to before I make a vote in the final
My
analysis.
problem is, from a financial standpoint, it's my business. I'm still concerned, obviously, about the issues that guns bring and whatnot, at the same point in time. But from me, looking at the perspective from a business owner in the area, it limits the people that I could actually rent to. A wedding planning business isn't going to want to be next to a gun shop, I mean,
What do you have in there now? I thought these were retail, these were residential, no?
No, it's right here, right?
No, I'm right next door. My building.
Oh, next door.
And what's in there now?
South of it?
Yeah, there's 3 units. There's 2 warehouses, both warehouses, and then there's myself, I do light manufacturing. It's 6,500 square feet, which goes back to what I think the lawyer said before about all the buildings are too big to put something in. My units are 6,500 square feet. I mean, obviously, you could open up some type of adult business in 6,500 square feet building. My units are right next door. I mean, they're probably 20 feet from this building. And the problem is when you come into my building, you're going to see gun
I never went, I went to Gun World once just to find out. I never went in there. I didn't feel comfortable in the place. I didn't like going into a gun place from a rear entrance. I used to go down through North Avenue in Bloomingdale till they closed it down. They sold out. They got, I don't know what, somebody built something there. I'd have to go by and look at it. But
No, okay.
the point is, there was a restaurant on the first floor. They have people going, they're shooting their guns on the second floor. And the first floor, you've got a restaurant where people are eating tacos and burritos. Never affected their business.
I won't give you a card until I've written everything down. Telemarketing service, telemarketing is a junk mail service that come and occupy your store.
You're welcome to stay, but. Sure.
Get on a FOIA card, 6 weeks. Legal process. Forever. That's better than the guy coming in.
Sure. Have a good night. Thank you. Okay, Alderman Cadella.
You're gonna get in the paper? Boy, she don't talk to me. She didn't wanna talk to me. What did you say? The trees?
No, a little snippet, like, it has a proven track record of safety, so I feel like it's really something that Okay.
Let's go.
Gavel.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna go. Okay, I'm calling to order the Public Works Committee meeting of April 10th, 2008. Will the minute taker please reflect the same members are present? I declare a quorum. I make a motion to approve minutes March 27, 2008. Is there a second?
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is report and recommendation on the 2002 roadway improvements project. And I make that motion to approve and recommend Mola Construction final payment in the amount of $6,670.02. Is there a second?
Second.
Anything on the question? Alderman Coles.
Question, are they still in business, or did they go out of business? That was the outfit that didn't want to pay, paid the laborers cheaper than what it was supposed to, wasn't it? Back in 2002?
Back in that time frame, we actually had a couple of different contractors who all kind of had similar issues.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Mola Construction is still in business, still.
Still in
viable
business. Okay,
corporation.
that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Okay, there's a motion, a second. Anything else on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? One opposition, motion carries. Next item is item number 5, report and recommendation on contract award backup wells repair to Lane Christensen. And this is a situation for a couple of years now that we have known that these wells were in somewhat of disrepair and that they did need work. However, we were holding off to try and either get money from county, water commission, et cetera. Now we're at the juncture where we do need to repair these wells. So, you know, I'm of the belief that we just have to move forward since the IEPA has informed us that we do need to do this work by about midsummer. So I'm going to make the motion to approve a contract being awarded to Lane Christensen Company in the amount of $51,973. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion, a second, and I'm going to ask Mr. Holm to take us through any other needed details.
I did want to add that a letter did go out to the Water Commission in early April here. So after speaking with the assistant manager and looking at the deadline that we're facing with the IEPA, that's why we brought our recommendation forward tonight. But the thought being that if we do receive funds from the Water Commission, those will simply reimburse our expenses.
Thank you. It's always good to kind of have both ends covered. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I just wanted to verify, the intent is still to pursue funding. Our 2 representatives for anybody who wants to make contact for Ward District 1 is Mayor Larry Hartwig and Bill Mayo. So if you want to call and lobby them, that would be appreciated.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anything else on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is items to be considered at future meetings. Item A, storm sewers detention ordinance revision. Item B, CTE Smith Engineering presentation, safety committee. Item C, grade separation, other safety alternatives endorsement. Item D, Emerald Ash Borer plan. And question for Mr. Murmas, when do you think items B and C will be coming to us?
I've got to talk to the chair of the safety committee, former Alderman Marshall Subak, to get an update. They just met yesterday,
Okay.
and I haven't had a chance to speak with him yet, so after that I should have a more accurate timetable. So I'll let you know if you ask that again next Thursday.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Lewiton.
For coming up events, Gary, can you provide us with information, or maybe just note off the top of your head, what was ChemLawn paid the last time they had a contract for the weed control?
And Mr. Murmas or Mr. Holm, can you just get back to Alderman Lewiton independently on that, and then, okay. Mr. Mayor?
One other issue, if I may, before we adjourn, Mr. Holm, looks like we are at or near a flood event. Do you have an update for us, or are there plans for this evening?
As of about 20 minutes ago, the level, according to the NOAA line, was 673.7. And when it starts to get over 674, that's when the county starts to notify their people in case they need to activate the Salt Creek Reservoir. Watching the weather forecast, we may still be in for some additional rain this evening. Knock on wood, we may be on the downside of that. So in other words, maybe already have seen the peak of the rain. So with respect to our crews, residents would want to call the police department 24 hours. That number, 766-2060. If we get paged out, I've already directed my guys to let me know right away, and we'll bring out a full response. So.
Thank you. Any other items, discussion? Alderman Coles.
I have a question for Gary. Are they working the retention pond at Madonna's property? Are they got electricity over there that pumps that out? Or don't you know?
You know, I don't know.
I was there this afternoon, it's chock full. I mean, it's overflowing. In fact, it's backing up into Lot 6 on Wood Lane Court.
I can give you an update on that. I'll give you an update on that tomorrow morning, as soon as I kind of touch base with.
The lot that's on Wood Lane Court is filling up now from the,
Yeah,
you
and
can't see the drain.
Those two ponds work together. I mean, that's how they're supposed to work, but obviously they're supposed to work with a restricted outfall, and if that's not happening.
Yeah,
right
but
now-
it ain't happening.
Okay. I will, as soon as I touch base with community development, I can update you on what the status
Okay.
of that is.
I make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.